Your story is just... Do you want to share a little bit about your back? I said convicted felon. Everyone went... Do you want to share a little bit about...
I fit the mold, right? The short story is I was an attorney here. I was practicing real estate law. I had come from big firms I worked for the county government for a period of time. And then I started my own firm really after I got married because I wanted to be an entrepreneur. My whole family, kind of similar to Shannon, is all a family of entrepreneurs. And I knew I wanted to be my own boss, have flexibility. My husband at the time was a firefighter, but I am divorced. He's fantastic. He's an amazing dad. So I started my own practice, and the short story is I started working with a real estate developer in 2007. Sorry, you guys can't hear me? Okay. And if you all remember what was happening in 2007 before the market crash, so real estate was crazy. I was working with a real estate developer, and essentially I did about 200 closings for him, and he was doing creative transactions and buyer incentives, which I assumed and justified and rationalized was okay because I knew every other developer was doing it. And what I should have done is listen to my gut, which was screaming to stop and screaming that something felt wrong. But I liked the financial stability. I didn't ask the questions. And by the way, I'm surrounded by attorneys. I could have gone to any number of people in my life, my parents, my kids, my mentors, managing partners at law firms, and I didn't. 7 years later, I got indicted for bank fraud. I ended up pleading guilty, and I owned it. I called 200 people in our community, and they all showed up for me and loved on me. And the biggest lesson I learned from this is people are very forgiving of our humanity when we give them a chance. And I think we're also believing that society judges us by our achievements. And I was that perfect little girl, right? Like I had to go to the best schools and get the best grades, and that was my plan. And I thought I could avoid the struggle by following my plan. And the reality is the struggle is here for all of us. It just shows up differently. Mine is this, my story is mine, y'all have yours. It's not about the story, I believe it's about how we rise through those moments and become better, greater versions of who we're meant to be and continue to give back. And so I now spend my life doing that.
And she's on the stage sharing her story with all these corporations. I just love that you've used that element that I think most humans would have wanted to hide. I love that you used it as your front and center. I love that.
I will say it's my why.
Yeah.
I believe that God gave me the courage and the ability and capacity to do what I do to impact people every day. And I always tell people I used to define myself, and success was, the measurement was, what grades did I get, how much money I was making, what car I drove. And now it's, can I impact one person today in a positive way? So whether it's all of you, whether it's the person I'm sitting next to on a plane, whether it's my kids, friends, parents, like it's always that. And by the way, like my kids were 9 and 10 when I was in prison, and they have grown so much through this. And I believe when we honor our children with the truth and give them the space to grow and learn, they grow through it as well.
So when everything you built came crashing down, what was that moment that you realized you had that choice? Because again, like most humans would have been like, I'm going to change my name, I'm going to move somewhere else, but you, because you're also well known in the community, you weren't all this was happening, you were like one of the most well known, you still are, but you know what I'm saying, like back in the day, like it wasn't someone that you, like no one knew who you were. I mean, you had a name already. How did you decide to stay and rise from it?
I will say that I have been blessed with incredible parents who have role modeled that when things get hard, you still have faith and hope. And so I remember when this first started and I got the grand jury subpoena and I was literally shaking uncontrollably. I came home and I was hysterical crying, and my mom said, and this is our fate, so hopefully I don't offend anybody, but my mom said, this is your karma, honey. There's something you're supposed to learn from this, and you will. And we will get through this together. And I'm really blessed with parents that have loved me unconditionally through this and not ever once let me feel I wasn't. And that has been, and honestly, my community supported me and loved on me. And so that was, I don't believe I had a choice. Like it was just ingrained in me that I will get through this and I will rise through this and I will be a better human and give back after this.
And I know there's a level of time there because we've all hit our own rock bottom, right? So it may not be the same as Rashmi, it may not be the same as mine, but what's the time frame that it took for you to like dust yourself off and get back in the game? Was there like a year or like a week? Like how long?
It was not a week. Okay, so when I decided to plead guilty, it was August 2014. I would say it took 6 months for me to like really forgive myself. That was the first step. Like I had to look in the mirror and say, I forgive you, right? Because we pass so much judgment on ourselves, don't we? And so,
was that while you were in prison or after prison?
No, that was before. That was before I even had my plea hearing in front of the judge.
Okay.
Yeah, I decided in August. My hearing was in December. And then I didn't get sentenced till 6 months later. So I had a lot, and it was in that time period that I called 200 people and told them, and they wrote letters for me. So that time period gave me a lot of space to start the healing process. Of course, I was in prison for 6 months. So in that time period, I read a lot, I prayed a lot, I exercised a lot, and it was all about finding that peace and forgiveness. And when I came home, I got home in February 2016, I really began to debrief. This was not my intention, but clearly God had a plan for me. And a lot of my friends began to say, you should really share your story. Like, it's really powerful, it's really inspirational. If you have the courage to do it, share it. Because nobody will believe, like, you don't look like somebody that would go to prison. You don't fit that mold. I started first by going to my law school. Like, I literally emailed the head of the criminal law section. I said, this is my story. I was top of the class, but can I come and just share my story? If I can affect one third-year law student or one law student to never go through what I went through, that's everything. And so that's how it started. Word began to spread. I then got invited to a TEDx, and that's kind of how it blossomed. And I've honestly grown and evolved a lot. And what I believe is that every time I share my story, I heal a little bit more. So as I impact all of you, I get to heal more.
Yeah, I get that. That's beautiful. Thank you, Rashmi.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Michelle.